To the cloud. All right. Hello, ladies. How are you?
Doing good. How are you?
Good, good. So you're 18 now?
Yes, we just turned 18.
Okay, good. So your dad, Raul, sent me some questions. So ask me the questions and I will reply to you the best I can based on my thoughts and opinions. Of course, I want you to know you're free to ignore what I'm telling you. You have your own choices to make in life and your own decisions, of course. Okay?
Yes.
All right, good.
So here you go, girls. These are the, because you didn't bring your. So because we're remodeling the house,
Sure.
we came into an RV. So we're working RV and they didn't bring their laptops. But here's the question.
No problem.
That way you.
Okay.
All right.
You go.
So our first question. Obviously, we're thinking about going to college just because, like, we're seniors this year. Yeah.
Yes.
But, with things changing, we were curious as to, like, what your thoughts are on college. Or, like, do you think it's worth it?
Okay. You know, college is what you make of it. And if you're going to actually join corporate America, if you will, then yeah, college will be very important. But if you will not join corporate America for a job and you will do your own thing, like being a licensed professionals, like maybe in real estate, etc., then you could just take series of certificates, just study what you like, immerse yourself in what makes sense for the career you choose. And I give you more examples on that. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's great. Of course.
All right. So I think, now I'm very biased towards the real estate because that's where the big money is. So I think no matter what you do, let's say you're going to go take some classes, because it's an invaluable experience, a great experience to go to college and attend some classes, etc. But the key thing is, along with that, parallel to it, get your real estate agent license. And be a full-time real estate agent for 2 years, okay? Because after that, you can become a real estate broker. Now, to start, you may not be able to get your real estate license right away because you have to study and go through an exam, but you can actually fall under a program that they call it Finders.
Finders?
Finders, yes. So licensed brokers can actually say, come, you're gonna work for us, and we're going to give you some document that will say that you can find clients for us and we'll pay you for a finder's fee. There is actually a very specific document for that for real estate companies, licensed brokers, and they actually control a lot of what you're going to do. So it's not like you're allowed to do a lot of things because you're not licensed yet, but you can get paid to find clients, to speak on behalf of the brokers, etc., and say certain things. That will be the fastest way to get into business. Number one, become a finder while you study for a real estate license agent exam, work in a big firm, a brokerage firm that have a good system so you can learn their system, how they automate things, how they outsource some things, and how they scale. See, your goal is to eventually, your end goal is to eventually branch out on your own when you become a broker, if that's possible. If not, it's to build such great clientele that you're making great money. So number one, become a real estate agent parallel to going to college and taking some classes. You can also consider becoming a mortgage broker. Mortgage broker. It means you broker loans for people. And the third thing you should consider, not to substitute, but to supplement being a real estate broker and a mortgage broker, is to become an life insurance broker. That sounds weird. My gosh, Cherif, why are you telling me real estate broker, mortgage broker, and insurance broker? Because that same client coming to you, if you become so knowledgeable to a point where you can tell them, look, for this deal, I can get you a loan for X, and I can get you the property structured this way. And by the way, now that you're going to buy it, you're going to need life insurance because you're a mother and you have kids, or you're a husband who's going to get married, etc. It will work out great for you. The same client you can make many commissions off of, right?
Yeah.
Along with that, I suggest for you to take seminars. The seminars are usually 3 days. These are live events and things online, etc. But seminars are the actual shortcut to success in the real estate world. Now, I give a lot of seminars, so I'm not trying to tell you come to my seminars. Actually, I'm doing less and less of these on like live basis. You know, the world is changing now with the COVID-19, etc. But taking a seminar, usually in 3 days, they're going to cram a lot of the information. And then they do what's called an upsell. So that then sell you, let's say, $40,000, $50,000 coaching or whatever. Ignore the upsell unless the upsell, whatever they give you extra to pay for or whatever to do, is with the guru himself or herself. If the guru is going to be the one that you're going to work with or you're going to get trained with, try to take maybe the lowest level training that's after that seminar. If you're going to work with the guru directly, if you're going to work with one of his or her entourage, it gets harder because the entourage is usually not making the big money. They don't have the business scale that these people have, etc. For instance, I tell you this because this is how I am structured. I go and I teach the 3 days, most of my events anyway, like in California and the big markets. And then when there is like joint venture, I do the joint ventures with students. I tell them what I'm going to do with them. And your end goal with all this is not just to become a broker and have some clientele, but to eventually become a syndicator. So write this down. Syndicator, S-Y-N-D-I-C-A-T-O-R. A syndicator is somebody who can group individual investors together to raise capital and then buy investment properties for the group. This is your shortcut to the big money. So I'm going to repeat for you the steps. Take some elective classes in college or any university that you can choose classes that make sense. Things like communication, writing skills, speaking presentations, etc.
Okay.
Become a real estate agent for 2 years, and then you can apply to become a real estate broker. Also take the intensive classes to study the exam to pass as a mortgage broker. And ideally also become an insurance broker. This is like a formula. You're going to make money right away. Take seminars along with that and be very skeptical. Understand, ask them why, network with the people when you're taking the seminars, take good notes, ask the questions, be very engaging. And if the guru offers something directly, work with the guru if you can. And your end goal, ultimate end goal is not just to become a broker within 2-3 years, but to actually be able to have a clientele of people that you've built some rapport with, etc., and become a syndicator to raise capital and buy big deals, big properties. Because as a syndicator, you can make money in 3 ways. You make money when you put the deal together. You get like 3% of the deal. Let's say it's a $10 million property. You get $300,000 when you close. You raise $3 million, you get $7 million loan, you're putting the group together, you just got $300,000 acquisition fee. You get a percentage of the cash flow called the management fee. And 3, 4, maybe 5 years later, when you sell the property, you get a disposition fee, which is a percentage of the increase in value on the property. One property could make you a millionaire. So that's my my first kind of answer to your question. What was the second question?
So I have a quick question, just one of our questions leading off that. So when you're investing in real estate, so like you say to start like as a real estate agent for like 2 years first.
Yes.
After that, do you think it's wise to stay in residential or commercial?
I would say the quicker you can get into commercial, the better off you are. Okay. Now, why? Why do I say that? The reason is in commercial real estate, the client that comes to you is number one, more sophisticated. Number two, if and when you connect with them, which is a key to life really, and you're able to build a relationship, they're going to do more than one deal. Oh, yeah. There is no open houses. There is not like, I don't think you can do an open house for an apartment building. You understand? There's no such thing. Okay. And your schedule will work out better because most of these big investors want to work Monday through Friday. So, but in residential, you're mostly working with one person and you're not going to see them for another 3 to 5 years.
Sure.
You're going to actually have to work on weekends. You're going to have to do a lot of open houses. You're going to have to work with unsophisticated people that are worried and not sure if they're going to qualify, et cetera, et cetera. So the quicker you get into commercial, the better off you're going to be.
Okay.
You with me on this?
That's the next question.
So that's just very, very important to get into commercial. So if you can get into commercial right away, great. Some client from the commercial may tell you, hey, do you have a home or something? Maybe you can do also residential on the side, but that will be your side gig. That will not be your main thing. Your main thing got to be commercial. You got to know the numbers. You got to brand yourself as a very personable person who can help him with commercial real estate. And then you'll get more and more deals.
Gotcha. Okay. Next question. How old were you when you really truly started making money, and how did you get there?
How old was I when I started really making money? So everybody find their own path. Okay. Me, I wanted to be a hotel manager. I loved real estate. I knew real estate is the big thing, but it was so far out of reach for me that I thought, hey, listen, I love hotels. I'm going to start in hotels. Well, what happened is I was working so hard in hotels that a billionaire noticed me, who was a hotel guest in Los Angeles at the Century Plaza Hotel, and said to me, hey, Cherif, I noticed that you work from 6 in the morning to 11 or 12 at night. Are you crazy? What are you doing? So I started explaining to him I wanted to become a general manager. And then he said, no, come and work for me in real estate. So I started really having good benefit package with him because I was living for free. I wasn't making a lot of money, but I was learning a lot. So I knew I had to pay my dues to learn. And I spent 8 years of my life with him. So when I left him, it was, I was 28 years old when I started really making the big money, because that's when I did my first deal and I started making it. But know something, you can start making a lot of money quicker with the shortcut I give you, because if somebody would have told me that, I would have gone that route. You know my point? But one of the most important things you got to do personally is build your credit.
Oh, okay.
So quickly start building your credit. So if you have zero credit right now and your mom and dad have good credit, maybe they can put you as an added person on their credit cards, like on their American Express with your Social Security. You can apply for credit cards, even 5,000 here, 2,000 there, 1,000 here. All this builds your credit. You can build personal credit and business credit. I give a whole class on this. It will take me like an hour to explain it. But building your credit is very, very powerful and very important. So when you make some money and save some of it, you're building your credit. So it's not just your money. Let's say you saved 5,000. You also have credit for 45,000. So now you really can have a purchase power of 50. And if you're in real estate and find a good deal, you're able to jump on it and do it after you disclose that you're a broker, etc. So for me, it was 28. I think for you, it should be probably, you're 18. You should be at 21. You should start making some serious money, because you will be already real estate agent and making some money.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good stuff. Some good advice.
Okay.
My dad tells us that too.
Good.
Yes. Go ahead, ask the question. What 3 areas of business and life should we become very knowledgeable without having to go take classes, take college classes or things like that?
Okay, so there are 3 areas when it comes to business that you have to know. Number 1 is marketing and sales. You have to know how to market anything and sell it. If you market very well, like online marketing and knowing how to communicate that message with clarity to the right market using the right medium, the sale almost becomes obsolete. It's a matter of fact. So you have to master marketing and sales, number 1. Number 2, you have to master management and operations, which is all human resources. How do you organize people? How do you organize activities? How do you organize the results within budgets, etc.? So marketing and sales, management and operations, which is all human resources really. And number 3, finance and accounting. All activities in any organization or your own activities got to be transformed into numbers. You have to be able to calculate. I spent so much time and I made this commission or this much money. Maybe I can spend less time and make more money because these are the activities I did that made me the most money. So marketing and sales, management and operations, finance and accounting. Those are the three business skills that you have to know. On a personal level, what you have to know is really how to be happy, okay? How to make yourself happy, how to be, and it's very simple formula really. If you're ethical and you have good relationships with people and you set goals that challenge you and that are making you really reach for another level constantly, where your outlook on the future is positive, you can't help but becoming happy. Okay,
Yeah.
it's self-effort, really. You have to kind of reframe things that are happening and say, okay, this is good for me. This is happening for me, not to me. That's happiness is number one. Number two, you have to learn to stay healthy. Okay, staying healthy, meaning very simply, eating the right food, being on the right diet, exercising regularly, sleeping well, you know, throughout your life, do doctor checkups and follow up. Being healthy gives you that energy you need. Without that energy, you can't make it. So number one, be happy. Number two, be healthy. That's how you have to learn how to do that. It's a lot of discipline. And number three, how to be wealthy, because your lifestyle will be tremendously affected and impacted by how much money you make. Money is very important. If you want to be charitable, you have to be profitable. You can be charitable with your time, but I'm talking to really have a cause and impact the world. To have, so when you, one day, if you want to get married and you want to raise kids, etc., you can really do it the way you want with your own free time. So being happy, being healthy, and being wealthy are always my top priority. When something happens, I think to myself, is this going to be fun? Will I make money with it? Will I help others? And, you know, is it like, I don't do any activity that's not going to help my happiness, health, or wealth. I just will avoid it. So it's a waste of my time. Okay.
Smart.
Thank you. So what other questions you have?
Let's see. What are your thoughts? Okay, so recently we have been keeping track of the stock market just because like the economy is shifting a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm hearing one thing about stocks and another thing about stocks. So I'm curious as to what you think about them. Like, do you think
They're profitable.
it's a good investment?
It's worth it.
Okay. So I would suggest for you to get into stocks if you're going to have a long-term outlook. What I mean by long-term is 30 years. Okay. You're young, you're 18. So you can say, hey, listen, by the time I'm 50, the stocks are going to pay off. They're going to pan out. So, so if you're going to do the stock market as something on the side with what's called dollar cost averaging, that means every month you put little money, little money, little money, it's going to eventually, and whatever, if you get any dividend, any payout, you're going to reinvest it. So it compounds. The compounding effort and results are going to astonish you, are going to fascinate you. But you have to have an outlook of 30 years. Nobody's going to know what's going to happen in the next 6 months. Nobody knows what's going to happen in a year. But I can tell you, everybody should know that in 30 years, the S&P 500, Standard & Poor's 500, which is the 500 of the biggest companies in the US, and they change, I'm going to adjust them, are going to perform well over the years. Nobody should bet or will even dare to bet against the US economy. You can also invest maybe in Berkshire Hathaway, which is Warren Buffett's shares. Even when he passes away, these shares are going to continue because they're structured in a way that they actually have great companies with long-term outlook like Coca-Cola, IBM, Apple, etc. So if you're going to invest in S&P 500 incrementally or Berkshire Hathaway incrementally, and you have an outlook for 30 years, stocks should make sense. And this is a good time if you have a chunk of cash to put in and wait. But if you ask me and I compare stocks, which is the equities market, versus real estate, which is the debt market, you will be much better off with real estate over time. Even if you bought a building and for 30 years that building didn't go up in value, for 30 years the tenants paid it off. And now you have a free and clear building. And it will have to go up in value because replacement cost alone, inflation alone will make it more valuable. So in conclusion, stocks may be interesting now just to save some money on the side as you build your credit and you start your career, etc., and you can get into real estate. But it's not something that I would put a lot of money in. And I would actually even add to that, that those who invested with Warren Buffett 30 and 40 years ago, they knew then that they weren't gonna get any cash flow because Warren Buffett, Berkshire Hathaway pays 0 dividends. So it's not a productive asset, meaning it doesn't bring income. You want to get into assets that bring you income. And that's why I don't buy gold. I don't buy Berkshire Hathaway. I don't buy things that don't bring income. I buy assets that bring income. When you become a syndicator, you're going to get people's money into buildings that bring income. So you become the middle person putting these deals together. Cool.
That's some good advice, sis.
Well, thank you.
Go ahead.
Okay. What's the biggest piece of advice you could give us?
In anything.
In anything, yeah.
Life, business.
Life, business.
Well, truly is what I just shared with you, that the most important 3 things that should keep you focused are your level of happiness, because it will dictate for you who's going to be around you, who you should be with. So you don't compromise on your own happiness. And number 2, your health, because if you don't have your health, you have nothing. There is even a proverb that says, a healthy person has 1,000 goals. An unhealthy person has 1 goal, right? Is to be healthy. And the 3rd is to really work on your wealth and not get too anxious about it. It's a matter of time. It compounds over time. Okay. But I'd like to add to all this that to succeed in anything, in life or business, you have to learn to deal with 3 things. Number 1, yourself. You have to really learn how to self-reflect and create that positive mood for yourself to be happier, more energized, to keep going with that tenacity to make it happen. Because the nature of capitalism is for people to come after you. They want to take what you have. They want to take your time. They want to take your staff. They want to sue you. They want to take your business model, etc. So you have to stay strong and not be too affected by that. So number 1 is your own self-discipline and self-control. Number 2 is how to interact with others. How can you manage others? How can you direct others? How can you get them to rally for your cause and work with them without being too nice or gullible and without being too difficult or aggressive? To make that balance as you work with people so they can rally for your cause and like you and want to protect you and work with you. So you got to have self-control. You have to have control for how you work with others and how they work with you. And number 3, how to work effectively on good business models. So good business, proven business models. You don't want to go and get sold by somebody giving you some story about, hey, let's go do this, develop this land and this. They've never done it before. It's not a good business model. It's not proven. It's too risky. And then you look at others who are going to be involved and you say, my gosh, I don't know them very well. I don't know their track record. They may not be too ethical. And then you look at yourself and say, I don't want to do this because it's not fitting how it works for me, for the entire group, and the business model is wobbly. So success really has these 3 levels that you constantly have to check and verify.
Wow. That was great. This is my little sister. She wants to say hi.
Oh, hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, you're also pretty. You will not have any problem interacting with people, I can tell you.
Cherif, they got all their looks from their father.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, no. He loves credit, huh?
I don't have any more questions. That was some great piece of advice, not gonna lie.
Thank you.
Dad,
Thank you.
anything?
Did you guys cover all your questions?
Yeah, we covered all of them.
No, I think you guys covered all the questions that you guys had. And Cherif, I want to thank you
You're
so
welcome.
much for
Yes,
just taking the
thank you.
time and just, sharing a lot of this knowledge. I think I wasn't in the call. I didn't get to hear all of it because I was stepped out. But this was time between for all 3 of you guys, and really more for you two, to help you guys create get more guidance as to what you should be doing, and and not hear from your mom and your dad.
It was really good too, because with everything that's going on, like there's just like a lot of like questioning, because like should we like make a down payment on college, like should we do that? It's just like there's a lot of stuff up in the air,
Yes.
And like you helped like the like confirmation. Like you just like helped us like see a better way. So it was really good.
I'm happy I was able to help. May I have your names again?
Yes. I'm Ayana.
I'm Savannah.
Savannah.
Wonderful.
Ayana.
Savannah.
Yep.
Wonderful. So with your okay, I will post this on YouTube. This way you can see it again and you can review it and I can show it to others so others can benefit. You're okay with that?
Yeah, of
definitely.
course.
Yep. And you don't need to edit. I mean, if you want to edit anything, that's completely up to you, but you shouldn't need to. But
Okay, thank you for that.
Cherif,
I'd like to
thank you again
post
so
it.
much. Be blessed.
Thank you.
Blessings to you and your
Yes,
family.
thank you. Thank
All
you.
the best. Hope to see you soon in one of my events. Take care.
Oh yes, for sure.
Okay, bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.